Hi all, myself Jachin Bency. I'm a technical coordinator at RAS SPC SJCET and welcome to this brand new tutorial on basics of Premiere Pro. In this tutorial, I will be discussing on how to edit a visual in Premiere Pro, and before editing a visual, we need to start the project and how to start a new project. Then we discuss about the different features it have, like the different effects and the effect controls and all those things, and last but not the least, and how to export the in the perfect manner possible. Those three things would be discussed in this tutorial, and please be with me during the tutorial. Do not skip any part because I have done it in such a manner, so please go through it. And without any further ado, let's get started. We are going to open up our Premiere Pro. Click on it. Okay, and the screen which load up shows our recent projects which we are working on. And to open up a new project, click on this button, new project. Then we can give a name to our project, to say our first first video. Okay, then there are a lot of options over there. We don't have to worry about those. We can quickly go and set up our project. So here we click the OK and we move on, and there we go. We get a nice workspace over there, and as you see, there are 5 different sections, one over here and one over here and one over here, the whole one over here, and our timeline as the name suggests. And so to start off, as we know, we have to edit a video. So for that, we have to import our files on which we have to edit on and create our video. So for that, we have to import our files. Now for that, we have to double click over the import media bin over here, and right now I have kept them in my desktop over here, tutorials. Yeah, and I have to select all of these 4 visuals and the background music which I am planning to keep it on. So I'm going to quickly select it, then click on open, and here we go. We got our visuals and the audio imported into our project bin. So here we have our visuals ready, and now moving on, we can add our visuals to the timeline to start our work. So for that, we can simply drag and drop into the timeline just by this. Click on, drag and drop, and here we go. We got our visual ready, and we got our first visual ready. And as you can see, this visual doesn't have audio in the background, and that's why there's a clean line over there. Moving on, we can control a lot of effects over here. Just by clicking on the visual, we get to see our effect controls panel active, and over there we can adjust the position of the visual which we have added to our timeline just by adjusting this figures. We can either move it left or right as you wish to move it on. Just by clicking this, we can reset the parameters, and here we have the scale which we can scale down or scale up our visual. Again, reset the parameters, We don't have to do that in our editing. And here we have the rotation. You can rotate it to 90 degrees, 180, or negative 90, 180, and it goes on. Just resetting the parameters again. And here we have the opacity, which we usually use for the fade in, fade out effects, which we usually see. Okay, so as we start our video, we would like to have a fade in. So for that, what we can do is we can click the opacity toggle animation on, so we get this tiny little symbol over there. That means that frame has been logged upon with the value 100%. So for that we need to make it to 0%, and we'll move, say, 1 2 3 4 5 frames, and then put it on to 100. And here we have another triangular shape symbol over there, and that's it. Our opacity keyframes has been added, and we get a nice animated fade in over there. I just moved it on just to make it a bit more elegant. Yeah, and here we have a smooth fade in ready. And that's how we can quickly animate our video by using the symbol keyframes over here. In the same way, we can add keyframes to the position of the video. For example, just a zoom out effect. That's what we want from it. Is we can simply add a scale in scale animation by clicking the toggle over here to animate the scale. So then a scale 100% keyframe has been added over here. We can get it to 150. So here we get a zoomed in picture. We can toggle the position keyframe too, so that we can adjust a bit. This values determines how it is, like if it goes, as the value goes up, the visual goes up, value goes down, the visual goes down. That's how the thing is. We can adjust it. And moving on, we can reset back to 100 and reset the positions, and there we have a nice animated. But for making it smooth, what we can do is we can select these two keyframes and move it a bit more frames ahead, so that we can have a nice little animation over there. Yeah, and there we get a camera effect with just some keyframes. You can move this keyframes a bit ahead of our opacity keyframe, just to make it middle of our opacity keyframe, just to make it a bit more realistic. Here we have. That's how the things work. And while working with it, we can see that our audio is just a line. That means it doesn't have any audio at the moment. So what we can do is that we can simply click the visual and right click on it, and we can see a lot of options over here in the box. And here you can see unlink. By clicking this unlink, we can unlink the video and the audio separately, so that we can just delete off our audio. that's just a null audio, so we can just delete it off by clicking that, by selecting the audio part and just clicking the delete key, and that's it. Boom, it goes. And here we have the visuals again, just to go, just taking a look. It's a good one, it's a good drone shot that we have now with us. Okay, so moving on, we have to get familiarized with some basic tools which we have over here, which is used to make the working in this timeline a bit more easier. And the one which we are using now, which is the selection tool, is this. That's what we are using. We can drag our visual wherever we want, we can do whatever we want with it regarding the visual. And moving on, we have the razor tool over here. Just by clicking it, we get the blade like symbol, and with that we can cut our visuals how much ever what we want, according to how much our part by part that we want to have. So that's how it works. So I need all these visuals, so I just going on clicking the undo button, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, and there we have the whole thing. Yeah. So the razor tools shortcut key is C. By clicking C, we can get razor tool. By clicking V, we get the selection tool. And to move on, we have a lot of different effects available in Premiere Pro, and we can access those effects by simply going onto the effects panel over here on the right hand side, and just by clicking the video effects, we get a lot of video effects which we can add on to our visuals. And here we go with the first one. Just to show, you can just click the blur and sharpen. Over there you can get the Gaussian blur or directional blur. Gaussian blur always works like this. Just drag it on top of our visual, and there we have Gaussian blur in our effect control panel. And how it works is very simple. We can adjust the blurriness how you want. You can see, just like a camera effect, a blurriness appears to be. We can select the value what we want, and we can then animate that to using keyframes, just as we have done earlier with our opacity and the position. This keyframe has a value 47%, and moving a bit frames forward, I keep it on to 0. So then we get this effect. Altogether, it's kind of like cool. And speaking of the effects, there are a lot of effects available in Premiere Pro, and learning it all is pretty much a big task. And the thing is that your imagination is just the limits. That's how the thing is. And moving on, we have the essential graphics, which is not used at the moment. I will go on it later. Then the sound, then the lumetri color, which helps us with the basic correction of the visuals. Like for example, the temperature of the visual, we can make it warmer or cooler. Never mind, we don't have to play with it at the moment. And we can set the exposure. If our visual is getting highly exposed, we can get it lower exposed. using the exposure. We have to then the contrast, the highlights, shadows, whites, blacks. There's a lot of things over there too. And to play on with the geometry color, we have the creative tab over here. By clicking it, we get to see that we can add on creative filters over our visual, like this. You can see a preview over here, or the one over here. That's how the thing works, and we don't have to do any of those at the moment, just getting on through it. Then we have the curves, then we have other effects too, which we don't have to go through at the moment. And let's get back to our business. So we got 4 visuals with us now, and what we have to do is that we have to make a seamless video, as I had shown earlier at the beginning of this tutorial. And for that we have to add in the rest of the visuals to visual 2 and visual 3, there goes, and visual 4, and there it goes. Visual 2, Visual 3 and Visual 4 has the audio in it, as Visual 1 had, and which we had deleted earlier. So the same happens with Visual 2, 3 and 4. So for that I just left click, then I'll just drag on, yeah, and we'll select all these 3 visuals and right click and press unlink, and there it goes. We get these audio part unlinked from the video, and just click on or delete, and boom, it goes. And that's how we delete the audio track from the video track. And what we have with us now is a seamless video, but thing is that noticing a jerk over here, yeah, you see this jerk over here. So to avoid those, we can add some kind of default transitions, to be honest, and for that we can add cross dissolve. That is, for that we go to the effects panel, click video transitions, and over there we get the dissolve. We go to dissolve, we see cross dissolve, click on that and get on it, and it goes right over there. Okay, that's fine. Errors do come. Okay, so I got the reason. Just okay. Before that, while zooming on, we can get in a closer look to our issue, what's happening over here. And the thing is that we have to, yeah, and the thing we have over here is that our frames are getting a bit overlapped over here, and so for that we have to do something. So for that we click on this cross dissolve and we get this info over here. Over there we can adjust the cross dissolve effects over there, and we can see how it goes. Yeah, it goes well as it seems. Or to avoid those, yes, okay, pretty much it's simple. We get to deal with a lot of problems related to the frames sometimes. So for that we have to zoom in and check what's the problem over there, and for that we have to zoom in our timeline. We have to move frame by frame using the left and right arrow keys, and we can get to know what the issue is. The issue is that symbol, we have to get this visual moving while the transition takes place. Let's see. So press C, and we cut off that bit. Press V again, click on it, delete, and click on this and right click, ripple delete. Ripple delete makes us delete those tiny little spaces between two clips, which makes it, now see, yeah, now it goes well. So let's do it once again. We are adding cross dissolve using the default dissolve feature in Premiere Pro using Ctrl D. So there we have the cross dissolve is ready. So now here we have a seamless transition ready with us. So now we got our visual 1 and visual 2 joined together, and now we get on with our visual 3. Visual 3 is a nice little beach over there, and for that we can go with we can go straight over to the visual, and it's good over there. And moving on, we can move on. Then we have the ending shot, and these are the 4 visuals. And moving on, we have to add our audio, and according to the audio we have to move so that we can get a seamless result. Okay, so what I am planning to do over here is, by clicking C again, and this bit of the video I'm planning to make it a bit more faster, just to get a nice feel. I'm planning to make it faster, so I just click on the V again, clicking on the part which we need to make it faster, and click on R, and this tool is the rate stretch tool, which makes a visual faster or slower. Basically what it does is that it speeds up the visual or slows down the visual. So what we are doing now is reducing the length of the visual to almost the half of the original cut over there. So the visual now have speeded up a bit more. We have to make it a bit more smooth, and we move on our, and there we have a nice little speeding up effect over there. That's what we have now with us. The same goes over here too. We have to speed a little bit up. Clicking on the R button again. Here we go. have to make it a bit more faster. Okay, let me try it again. Okay, and here it goes in. And as planned before, we'll just click on the V button to get our selection tool again. Just zooming out a bit. Clicking over here, right click, ripple delete. And we got our audio to be synced with the video at the moment. And we have to speed this up a bit more too. So clicking on R again and dragging it to the left to shorten it up. Then let's see it again, how it goes. Okay, now for a tip. Whenever there's a build in our music, a transition or a joining of two visuals would be great, because that would give an immense effect to the final product that we get. So as I noticed a build up over here, I can go and cut our visual over there, and we'll delete the extra portion, and we will ripple delete again. So the next visual comes again. Okay, so for now we have to get on and play with some more keyframes, just because this visual is in moving, because it's just the waters that moving, as the camera was fixed on while taking this visual. So for a bit of movement to make it a bit more lively, we can play with some more keyframes as we did at the beginning. Click on the visual, go to the effects control, toggle on the animation for position and scale. So here we have two keyframes ready. We can scale a bit to say 120 would do good, and move a bit up. Okay, then we'll move to the end of the those visuals and we'll click on these reset parameters to just get us back to the position where it is really. So we'll get a okay, we'll just play on with more of the scale just to make it effective, and a bit more positioning. Okay, or we have to move it a bit more back. Okay, I had moved this keyframes to nearer to the start, just to make it a bit more faster, that animation. Look, we get a nice little animation. It looks like as if it is an actual zooming out process by the cameraman, but it's not a zooming out process by the cameraman, but instead we are playing with the keyframes over here. That's what happens. And the rest of the part seems a bit odd to us. And here we see another piece of music which goes up a bit. Okay, so That's where we need to fix our next visual works with our visual 3. So again, going to eraser tool, clicking C and clicking on the frame which we need to cut on, then clicking V again, click visual, then delete. And as said, ripple delete, click on it, right click, ripple delete, and here we have the fourth visual ready. And with the fourth visual, as we had did earlier, we can play with some rate stretch tool just to make it a bit more faster over here. So for that, we will take the visual till this portion of the visual, then clicking on C just to select our required portion, then clicking on R again, then moving on towards the left just to make it a bit more shorter. Okay, then let's try it again. That's how things are going faster than before. Okay, then we'll again ripple delete, we'll get the visuals back again, and we get the visuals again. And here we have the end of the video, and for the end we can plan out something like text writing up over here, or some kind of an effect, or a just usual fade out process. So what I plan is that we can fade out the audio as well as the video at the same time, and for that, for fading out the audio, what we can do is that click on the audio, and here we have the effect controls for the audio, and over there we can see an audio clip tab over there, and there we get the audio mixer for the audio that we have with us now, and we can go to the ending scene, and there we have a small little button over there written write keyframes. Just click on it, so the keyframes will be activated. Just click on the volume slider just to make this a bit more bigger. You can slightly adjust with it, yeah. So we have it. So as we see, you can see a small rounded circle over there, and that's our keyframe with which we can work on our audio fade out. Okay, for the next frame we go all the way down on the slider, and there we have a nice little fade out of audio. So there we have, and there we get our fade out for the audio, as well as in the same way we have to fade out our video too. So for that, we go to the visual, we select the visual and go to the effect controls again. We have the visual selected, and we go to the frame till where we want the opacity to be to the full. Then we move on to the end, and we select the opacity to 0. And there we have again. So there we have a smooth fade out to our video, and that's how the thing works. And before ending, we have to add in some more things, like, anyway, the part over here doesn't really matter us after all, because it's paid out and we don't need them. So for that we can select C again, click, we can snap out here, then we can just click on it and that gets cut. Just go click V and click on the part we don't want and delete it. Boom, it goes. And here we have a good video with us now, just with the visuals, which is almost 1 minute 36 seconds as per our display says. And at the end we have to put in some titles, like for examples like thanks for watching or something like that. We can quickly do it by clicking this type tool over here. Just click on it, then click on our visual wherever we want to type in our text, and just go on typing it. Thanks for watching, and we'll select our selection tool again, and here we come to the use of essential graphics. We click on the essential graphics tab and there we have our title ready, and over here we can select the font of our title. For example, this is Tahoma. I would always recommend to use Verdana or something like Bebas, which is usually seen in various lots of blogs and all, and that's what we're having now. Or we can select some other kind of, and we can adjust the font size over here. Just selection tool active, then we can center it up using the align and transform options over the top of the essential graphics. Vertical center, centering it up, and we have it. And clicking on this bold, this makes it bold in nature. Just a bit more adjustments related to the width and all. Just centering it up again. Just decent. And as you see, now, our text isn't that visible because it is usually blending it up with our video. So what we can do is that the easiest possible thing to do is going on to effects, then blur and sharpen, then adding a Gaussian blur to our visual at the end. Using our keyframes would be a great option because our text would be visible much more when we add in a Gaussian blur, which makes it great to watch too. We are adjusting the opacity a bit, just move a bit frames backwards. That's how it works. We have nice little video over here. Okay, so now that we have our video ready with us now, so now we have to export it to an MP4 file, just to save in our computer, as well as to share it between social media platforms or things like that. So for that, what we have to do is we have to select the part which we need to be exported. to be selected, and for that we right click over here and we'll mark out, and we'll adjust the marker, just snapping over to the end of it. Marking is default over here at the start. We have to just mark the outer mark, and there we have our visual ready for export. Then now we go to files and export media, click on that, and what we have to do now is we have to select the format. H.264 is default. If it is not default in yours, kindly do it by yourself. Like, we could change it into a lot of different varieties of formats, and in those varieties of them, H.264 is the best one possible. Select the H.264, and there are a lot of preset settings for our video to be exported into. We have the match source high bitrate, which is one of the best ones that I personally prefer to use, and we have the match source medium bitrate. Medium bitrates allows us to easily share such big videos in through our social medias like WhatsApp and Facebook and all those. And there we have high quality 2160p, then high quality 1080p HD. All those are preset settings, and we have even YouTube settings too. This is optimized for YouTube to be viewed in YouTube, and if you're planning to upload your video to YouTube, it would be better if you could select one of these. Or there's even other formats like the mobile devices, and if we are uploading it into Twitter's default presets are also available. So in this case I would like to go with high bitrate, and that's it. We have selected it, and our output name would be over here, and that is visual final, and there we go. Save it, and then nothing to adjust over here. We'll just go and right away export it. could all follow through the tutorial and try doing all those projects by yourselves in Premiere Pro. And if you have any doubts, you can contact me at any time. And now, before ending this tutorial session, I would like to thank Mr. Jen K. Jennings, Chair, IEEE SJCET, and Roop Saji, who is the Program Coordinator of IEEE SJCET, for giving me this opportunity to come before you and do such a tutorial with you guys. So hope you all liked it. If you liked it, smash the like button and share it.